Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Healthy Moving Podcast, the show that empowers you to exercise less, but move more so you will feel better. I am your healthy moving enthusiast, Jen Hoffman from healthymoving.com. I'm so excited about today's show. I get many emails on this topic each week, and I know it's something that almost everyone in our modern world needs to think about. How should you sit at the computer? Whether you do it for work or for leisure, chances are you log some hours behind the computer screen each week. Today, I'm going to inspire you to approach those hours differently. And I have a really cool free bonus for you. It's only going to be available for a limited time, so be sure to listen for the details on how to grab it today. Thank you so much for tuning in.
A recent study shows that standing at work for long periods of time is bad for you. Yeah. After earlier research indicated that sitting too long at work is bad for you. So really, the only thing we know is work is bad for you.
Oh, Jimmy, I love ya. This clip is from Jimmy Fallon's July 29th Tonight Show monologue. I am a huge Fallon fan. He so clearly loves coming to work every day, and his joy, it's infectious. But I have bad news, dear Jimmy. I have a solution to this dilemma, so you can't write off work as bad just yet. Let's back up for a moment and talk about the whole sitting is bad for you research. There's been a variety of studies the past couple of years and some sensational headlines like sitting is the new smoking. I'll post some links for some of them over in the show notes for episode 28 at healthymovingpodcast.com. It's all fine and good to hear that, but I want to help you understand exactly why it's bad and why the negative effects of sitting are not reversible through exercise or other good habits. If you're going to make some lifestyle changes or convince your employer to let you do so, you really need to understand why. So first, let's talk about why sitting is bad for you from a cardiovascular perspective. I've talked a little bit in the past about hemodynamics or blood physics, and you can go back to episode 11 to hear more on that. But it's important to understand that the shape your body is in when you're sitting causes your blood to flow in a way that increases plaque accumulation. Yes, you heard that right. Maybe this hits home for you or a loved one with high cholesterol that diet and exercise just don't seem to help. If you're sitting for the majority of your day, you're setting yourself up for heart health issues. And then there's the impact on the musculoskeletal system, and this is one that I hear about frequently. Jen, I have terrible back pain. I know it's not helped by how much I sit at the computer. What can I do? How should I sit better? That's a common question I get. The problem is most of us sit with a tucked tailbone, so our weight is resting on the sacrum instead of the bones it was designed to rest on, which are our ischial tuberosities or our sit bones. I'll put a link to a picture in the show notes as well for this so you can see, but when we're sitting on that rolled back sacrum, it puts a terrible strain on the low back, and it's really bad for the pelvic floor and the core as well. Also contributing to our back woes is what happens to the psoas muscle while we're sitting. The psoas is that awesome muscle that attaches at the spine right near the upper lumbar spine and lower thoracic region, and it goes all the way down to attach at the front of the thigh. Sitting shortens this muscle, which makes our back, along with our hips, core, and pelvic floor, pretty miserable. Sitting also inhibits posterior strength, which shouldn't be surprising that when we're sitting on our rumps all day, it does nothing to strengthen them. But we need that posterior strength for healthy knees, hips, and pelvic floor. Plus, sitting all day leads to super tight calves and hamstrings, which can cause foot, ankle, knee, hip, and low back pain. So a lot of the aches and pains that you're feeling are probably exacerbated by how much time you spend sitting in the chair. There's also some studies coming out that show that sitting negatively impacts other systems of the body too, like our immune system. Excessive sitting also likely has a negative impact on your creativity, productivity, and your stress level. So why can't we undo these negative effects with exercise? It's a time problem. how much time are you doing one versus the other? See, your body is shaped by how you move and the positions you're in when you're not moving all day long. If you spend 8, 10, 12, or more hours a day sitting, you simply can't undo the effects of that with an hour of exercise. So sitting all day is bad. Standing must be better, right? Well, in addition to the new research that Jimmy Fallon was referencing, we already know from the Industrial Revolution that standing all day, like in a factory line, has negative impacts too. But here's the thing I want you to really understand. Standing all day is not the opposite of sitting all day. Moving all day is. Now, all of this can start to feel a little depressing right now, and maybe you're screaming at me. What the heck am I supposed to do, Jen? I have to work at the computer. It's my livelihood or my passion. It's how I do the one thing I was built to do. What do you want me to do? Go live in a yurt in the middle of nowhere and go completely off the grid? Not gonna happen. Guess what? I have a far more practical solution than that. You can make some relatively small changes that will have a huge impact. Instead of a sitting workstation or a standing workstation, I want to help you to transition to a dynamic workstation. One where you can regularly move your body in several positions as you work at the computer. Here's the extra special free bonus I have for you this week. I recorded an hour-long class where I give you a detailed plan with 15 different exercises and positions that you can cycle through while you work at the computer. It's only going to be available for a limited time, so make sure to check it out right away. To have the class link sent directly to you, completely free, all you have to do is text the word workstation, one word, WORKSTATION, to 33444. You can also access it via the link in the show notes for episode 28 at healthymovingpodcast.com. I demonstrate everything I'm about to talk about in the free class, but there are 3 primary positions you can rotate through: standing, sitting on a chair or ball, and sitting on the floor. But with each of those, there's a variety of things you can do to get little movements in. For example, while you're standing, you can focus on your basic stance. You could stretch your calves, your hamstrings, the tops of your feet, your psoas and hip flexors. You could even strengthen your lateral hip muscles. While you're sitting on a chair or a ball, you can pay attention to your pelvic and rib alignment. You can roll your feet on a tennis ball, or you could stretch the lateral hip muscles. And while you're sitting on the floor, you could cycle through several different positions, sitting with the legs wide in a V, the soles of the feet together in cobbler's pose, maybe the legs extended straight out, or even easy cross-legged pose. Of course, another great thing to do is to get in some short walks throughout the day. Can you walk around the house or the office while you're on the phone? Maybe you could do a walking meeting. There have been some really great studies recently about the benefits of walking, and I'll include those in the show notes for you as well. When I talk about walking and workstations, I usually get a question about treadmill desks. So I just want to tell you up front, I'm not a fan. First of all, they are super expensive. Secondly, the treadmill belt, it reverses your natural gait cycle, which is really bad for your pelvic floor and your low back and your knees. Plus, you don't get all the benefits of reciprocal arm swing that we get during a normal optimal gait pattern. And there's probably a neurological tax to be paid as well, because you're moving your body without actually moving your head through space. So save your money, don't spend it on a treadmill desk. You can make the move to a dynamic workstation without spending a lot of money on fancy equipment. You could turn your existing desk into a standing desk some of the time just by putting an inverted laundry basket or a box or some kind of small stool up on top of it. You could keep a tennis ball and a blanket at your desk for use in a variety of really simple stretches and movements. And you can use the chair that you normally sit in for your laptop when you're logging some floor sitting time. There are a couple of cool products out there that I've been watching if you're just itching to spend some money on this. And I'm not affiliated with or endorsing either of these. I'm just sharing with you what I've been watching. IKEA has a new adjustable desk that raises and lowers with the push of a button. It's pretty cool. If you work at an actual desktop computer, it might be something that you want to look at. Although if you work at a desktop computer and you have the ability to use a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard, you can probably still do a lot of this stuff, even just with that. There's also a new product, still I think it's in the pre-order phase of production, from a company called Ergo-Driven. That's ERGODRIVEN, Ergo-Driven. It's a standing workstation mat called the Topo. It creates this surface under your feet that encourages you to move as you stand at your desk. I'll be sure to put links for both of those in the show notes as well. As I always say, this really is about weaving healthy moving into the fabric of our days. Not only is it difficult to make time for exercise sessions, exercising in this little compartment doesn't do enough for us to maintain our long-term health and wellness and keep us pain-free. I am super excited to announce that I've put together a 30-day healthy moving challenge for the month of September. If you don't feel as great as you'd like to and you're ready to learn in small, digestible daily lessons of 5 minutes or less exactly how to get the movement you need to feel better while you are living your life, I'd invite you to head to healthymoving.com/30day. Just 30DAY. I'm offering a $20 early registration discount on the challenge through the 15th of August. That's a savings of over 25%. And the registration is going to close completely for this challenge on August 31st, so be sure to head there soon. Life is so much easier when you feel better, so I really hope you'll join me next month. It's going to be fun, doable, and life-changing. Okay, friends, if you have a question you'd like me to answer on air or a story you'd like to share, call me anytime at 201-580-MOVE, or you can click the Leave Me a Message link in the show notes. If I use your question or story on a future episode, I'll send you a little something in the mail to say thanks. And if you know a desk jockey who logs a lot of hours in the chair, I'd be so grateful, and I think they would too, if you sent them a link to this episode. Finally, one last thing, it would be a huge help to me and to potential future listeners if you'd head to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and review the Healthy Moving podcast. I so appreciate you taking the time to do that, and I read all the feedback you guys give me there. Until next week, friends, keep moving.